Israel has a giant problem. His name is Goliath. But Israel has other giant problems besides this oversized warrior. They are fractured as a nation. They are fearful, probably because they know they're not obeying the Lord, because that'll make you afraid and that'll help you lose your confidence. And they're floundering. They really don't have a direction. And David is going to solve a lot of these giant problems for Israel. He's going to eventually, when he becomes king, he's going to unite the tribes. He's going to bolster the army, which is going to help them in conquering the Canaanites. He's going to establish a capital city that is fit for a king. Today, one of the most well-known stories in the Bible, even people that don't know the Bible have heard of David and Goliath. It's a classic story. It's also used as a metaphor for an undersized, underpowered entity defeating an oversized, overpowering enemy. And it's usually a battle of good versus evil, where good doesn't have any way they can win, but somehow the good wins over the evil. And so it's epitomized in our story today. An unlikely underdog defeats an overwhelming evil enemy. David and Goliath. So Israel has giant problems. His name is Goliath. For 40 days he has taunted and mocked King Saul, for one. The army of King Saul, the army of Israel, and then all of the tribes and all of the people individually, they are all the butt of Goliath's derision. Then King David, he's not king yet, he's just a boy. Definitely a boy. Nobody thought he was a man at this point. He's on a cereal, bread, and cheese run from home to his brothers that are there in the camp of Israel. And while he's delivering the bread, cheese, and cereal, he hears Goliath calling out and mocking King Saul and mocking the Israelite army and mocking the Lord. And when David hears Goliath's voice, he also hears God's call on his life, God's call to greatness. And he says, I'm not going to pass this opportunity up. And so David volunteers to be the one man, even though he's not really a man. Nobody thought he was a man yet. He's the one person that's going to go out on the battlefield alone with no support. But he's not alone, and he's got all the support he needs, because David has had some supernatural experiences between the time that Samuel anointed him as king and the time that he made it to the battlefield that day. The Bible tells us that after David was anointed by Samuel, the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him. And it wasn't a one-time thing. It was like the Spirit of the Lord continued to rush upon him. We're going to go back a book or two and read about this thing about the Spirit of the Lord rushing upon someone. Does that ring a bell for you? Do you remember anybody else that the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon? Samson had it happen to him multiple times. We're going to read a couple of instances today. So, do you think David knew the story of Samson? He probably knew. Maybe it wasn't written down yet. We don't know. But he probably knew that Samson had these supernatural experiences. And it's very probable that David also had these supernatural experiences where the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him. Now, that's no doubt. The Bible says that happened. But when it happened, it's very possible that that's when he did some very supernatural feats that he's going to recount to Saul today. That is, he killed a bear, and at another time he killed a lion. And that's what we see in the life of Samson. The Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him and gave him supernatural strength, but not just strength. Don't forget, animals are fast. I believe it gave him supernatural speed too. because it wasn't just a matter of being stronger than the animal, but he had to be faster than he had to grab the animal before the animal could grab him. So we're going to see that David had these supernatural experiences, and then when he got to the battlefield, he already knew what it was like to feel the Spirit of the Lord rush upon him and to give him supernatural power. The nation is not in good shape. They've got a king, but he's not a great king. In fact, he's already failed multiple times. So Saul is on his way down. David is getting ready to get on his way up. But he's going to do several things. He's going to defeat more than just Goliath. He's going to defeat some other psychological and spiritual giants that Israel needs help with. He's going to eventually, later on in his life, he's going to crush the Philistines so that they are not ever a problem for Israel again. He's also going to unify the tribes. David will professionalize the army. David will expand the territory of Israel more than any other king. David will finally capture the city of Jebus and turn it into the capital city, Jerusalem. David will establish justice. David will model godly leadership for the nation, which they haven't had in Saul. And David will begin the dynasty that will end with the Messiah reigning forever and ever. And so he's a very significant person. But a shepherd boy steps onto the battlefield today against a seasoned warrior. He doesn't have battle experience, but he's got some experiences with the Lord. He's going to take his weapons of sling, staff, and stones, and he's going to defend the honor of the Lord and the honor of Israel and even the honor of King Saul. And he's going to begin today solving Israel's giant problems.